Good morning. It's a real pleasure to be here in this role today. I enjoy hearing others speak, and after last week, had to tell John, what do you do to follow sweet baby James opening the sermon? But it is good to be with you. Adrian and I have a tradition that marks a very special time each year for us. I routinely travel abroad each summer to attend a conference or for business of one sort or another. And so she'll choose one of my trips and we'll buy a ticket for her and she goes with me. And then we tack a week's vacation on to the end of my conference. And it's a wonderful way to get to see different parts of the world. In the summer of 2019, we went to Rome. I had a good conference. We had a better week afterwards. When we landed at JFK, both of us had multiple messages on our phone saying, call immediately. And we all know that's not a good sign. So I got a hold of Lee, my stepdaughter, and she said, my uncle Jim, Adrian's brother, has died suddenly in Florida. So I told Adrian, and we, the next week, went to Florida and attended Jim's funeral. We were both in shock. Jim and Mary Jo had just visited us a couple of months previous to this, and he was in great shape. But things can happen. When the funeral was over, I went back to New Haven. Adrian stayed in Florida. Her best friend of lifelong standing, or virtually lifelong standing, had developed a brain tumor. Adrian had gone for her annual, they got together once a year, or did get together once a year. They'd been together in May. Anna was great. But when Adrian had come back a couple weeks later, Anna had a seizure and they found that she had a brain tumor. So Adrian went to spend a week with Anna. She got home and I was getting ready for another one of my trips, this time to Germany, and Anna died. So I changed my arrangements, shortened my stay in Marburg, and arranged to go back to North Carolina to conduct Anna's funeral. When I got back to Yale finally, I ran into a good friend, another dean at the university, whose father had just died. Her father's a person of faith, she is not. And as we exchanged stories, she looked at me and she said, I wish I had your faith. And I've never forgotten that. Does our faith matter? Does what we do here on Sunday mornings, whether remotely or in person, affect our lives? I want to say it does. And I don't want to live my life without that faith. I wouldn't want to have a diagnosis of diabetes without faith. And I wouldn't want to look at members of my own family or very close friends over a casket and have no word beyond they were a good person to say to them. So I'd like to look at a story with you from the Gospel of Luke that I think addresses this. Now, there are three versions of this story in our Gospels.